After slaying my way through almost 50 monsters and carding almost 50 times, I've come across this unknown black dragon, know its name now as the Dire Miralis, and wow, Pidgey hunts. Welcome back, classy crew, to another Monster Hunter Journal as I make my way through Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, slaying every unique monster. And last time I left you, we had, I believe, 9 monsters left on the list. Today, I come to you with 7 left, and I actually know the identity of all the monsters now. This past week, I've done a heck of a lot of progress, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Stygian Zinogre, which was the thing I left off on the last journal. And surprisingly, the Dire Miralis, I was not expecting to fight that so I guess, I was going to say so soon, but I guess I'm at the end of the game. I'm in the end game, so I was bound to see it sooner or later. And then the grind to unlock the next monsters and to prepare myself to close off this chapter of my Monster Hunter journey. One little note I want to share that I completely forgot to mention on my last journal with the Green Narga. Because I was in multiplayer and then I decided to do that hunt solo, I didn't have the kids with me. I didn't have... oh boy. But anyways, I made sure the kids were along for the ride this time. So going into Stygian Zinogre, I already knew what kind of monster this is. I knew that he has dragon attack, and I know that I was weak to dragon. I have minus 30 on my armor set. So the first order of business was, all right, we need to strategize. We need to come up with a armor set to counter Stygian Zinogre without spending another 20 hours grinding an armor set. So the first thing is, let's go to the armor vendor. Let's find out, what can I build? After an hour of playing around with, okay, I can do this, I can do this. I even pulled up a spreadsheet. First I did it in Notepad, and I'm like, this isn't helpful. So I pulled up a spreadsheet. We did it together as viewers, and by together, I mean I did it and people watched. I figured out what armor I could get, what skill, what's best to do what. And I ultimately settled on a combination of Jaggy and Volvidon pieces. They have decent defense, decent slot, and pretty good skills, honestly. It was mostly attack, and for the first time I activated the bomb boost skill, which lets my slime do more damage, if I understand that correctly. Also, I learned about a very cool attribute, which is on the Volvidon greaves, the leg armor. The skill is basically double your chest piece skill. I was like, oh, that is such a cool metric. So now you can strategically like pick what chest piece you want and then just double the skill points in that by putting the Volvidon greaves. So I'm like, oh, that's a very like cool way to spec yourself. So with all that, I raised my armor all the way up without using true spheres because I don't have any of those. So my defense took a little bit of a hit. My dragon resistance was up, nothing impressive, and I had some decent skills. Overall, I would say it was a pretty mediocre set, but at least it prevented me from having a lot of weakness to dragon. And so I went in, and I have to say the start of the fight was quite comfortable. Probably because I had the kids. I was like, oh, the monster's not even attacking me. He's not focused on me. He's just attacking the kids, and I'm just gonna like bang on him. So I might have gotten a little arrogant in the beginning. I was like, oh, I think the Stygian Zinogre is more about power than speed, because I was expecting super fast after the Green Narga, but this was manageable. And then I think he heard me or something, because he just started spamming his Dragon Ball. Oh, he started spamming his ball attacks. Anyways, so once he started spamming those, I was getting hit a lot. I was constantly being like dragonated, so I couldn't slime. I learned also that when you have Dragon Blight, you can't slime. And I was like, well, the whole point of my axe and my skill is to slime. So I was like chomping on some null berries. I went through all my null berries, went through all my potions. This boy was tough. I think I was at 35 minutes. I was getting quite uncomfortable. I carded twice, of course. And then I was really uncomfortable. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. And then there was the timer that I was also sweating against. So it was just a matter of keep going at it. He was really aggressive in the second half, but I killed him. So I was pretty sure I was going to kill him from the start. I just didn't think it was actually going to be this hard. So he surprised me quite a bit. Now let's talk about the good fight, the Dire Miralis. So I was really surprised that this unlocked right away after the Stygian. I was like, oh, okay, this black dragon. I only saw him in the trailer at the end there. I didn't even know his name. So I was like, okay, what's this guy all about? So the first impression is just like, oh man, he's a big black dragon. I love this. I love his whole design with the volcano stuff. Okay, he's sitting in the water. I understand the water thing. And I remember when I started this quest, people said, not the quest, but my journey here, people said, oh, if you don't like water, you're not going to like the final boss, which is this. They were referring to this boss fight. And I understand why. The one thing that sucks about this fight is the frickin' water. And it's not the movement in the water. It's the stupid camera. Because the dragon sits at like in shallow water, the camera is always above the water, and the water is red, so you can't even see in the water, so you're constantly like swimming near the surface, so the camera is not underwater with you, and you just can't see what you're doing, and it is super frustrating. Otherwise, the first thing I noticed was he had these massive kind of lava like blister points on his body. I was like, those look like weak points. I bet you if I hit those, something's gonna happen. And so I hit them and something happened. They blew up and it gave me an opening. And I was like, all right, gamer points. I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, he reminded me of so he reminded me a little bit of the Zora Magdara. I haven't said the name out loud in a while. Hopefully I said that right. No. In terms of size, and people said they didn't see this, but I honestly saw some Fatalis traits in this monster, not in its intensity or anything, but in just how it moves and how big it is. Like specifically when he goes on all four and he moves like a snake, I'm like, okay, that's a Fatalis move right there. And otherwise, just the sheer magnitude of it really reminds me of Zora. And honestly, I kind of wish, knowing this guy now, I wish they would have made the Zora fight just be a Dire Miralis fight. I would have way preferred having run around on a like super, I don't even need to run around on it. Just the Dire Miralis is just cool on its own. And I think having that kind of monster as an opening to Monster Hunter World would have been so much more impressive, because mostly the Zora, you can't even make out where its face is or what it is. It's just this massive turtle that's moving like it's a moving mountain in the water. This is a freaking dragon. You can tell it's a dragon, and it's got freaking volcanoes as shoulders. Like, that's, I think, a little bit more impressionable, especially on a new player. So the fight went pretty, actually smoother than I thought. I was just smacking away at his glowing points. I was like, all right, like there's going to be a phase 2 to this. I think I've been playing too much Elden Ring. I'm always expecting a phase 2 now. I discovered, okay, he goes on shore, so I'm like, all right. But for the most part, all of his attacks were quite easy to dodge. I mean, if you stick close to him, you just have to be careful when he tries to squish you. And that's about it. Otherwise, all his attacks, like when he shoots fireballs from his shoulders, if I was around him, they didn't hit me. He had his supernova attack, which if you're far on the beach, that will destroy you, and he fireballs you. But if you stay close to him, it's not a problem. Now, I don't know if I was playing the right strategy, because if I have to stick to all the man-made weapons, like the artillery, then you're always at a distance from him, and those attacks become way more problematic. But I stuck to him for the most part. I did discover a Dragonator. I later learned that there were multiple. I found one, and I did not understand which direction the Dragonator pointed in, so I actually missed really bad with my Dragonator shot the first time. Later, when the Dragonator was ready again, I did hit him, and it was really satisfying. So for the most part, I just kept hacking away at him. It was enjoyable. There was epic music. It felt like an epic monster. I was not getting like smacked around, and I was surprised when the victory music started, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run out of time. Like, I completely went in this not expecting anything, and I killed him. I was like, oh wow. So being number 7 left on the list. Now I have to say, I love this fight. And when people are like, did you find it fun? I think it's very important to define fun, because in Monster Hunter, I think there are 2 types of fun fights. There is the Dire Miralis fight, which is fun because it's just, I can't even really describe it, but it's the fact of taking on a big beast. It's not the fun you get from a challenge. Like Arc-Tempered Velkhana was fun because I had to learn to dance. I had to master the fight. It was a wall to overcome, and that is its own specific fun. But there's something to be said about bashing on a massive monster and just having fun moving around and like beating on it, even if it's not intense and like making you struggle and go through all your potions and all that. And that's the fun of Dire Miralis. Is it a hunt that I would do over and over again? Probably not. But as a like as a bookend to a story and a game, it works beautifully, and I love it. And so this Black Dragon is probably the weakest of the Black Dragons I've fought, but honestly, he only made me smile throughout the whole fight, so I can only say good things. And then Streamerlet came back, even though I didn't really need or want any parts, or I didn't really care for parts. In the end, I did get a Dragon Gem, and I don't know if these are rare, but I also got 2 smelters that looked rare. So I got some pretty good drops. Saw the armor set, saw the weapons. They look fantastic. They look cool. I don't know yet if this is an armor set I'm going to have to grind. I'm definitely going to have to get into the grinding for the end game, because these last 7 monsters are freaking terrifying and hard, especially as I talk about the next part. So once Dire Miralis was beaten, my hunter rank finally unlocked. We are no longer in single digits. It jumped up from 8 to 25. And now the grind begins because I have 2 monsters that unlock, one at hunter rank 40, and the final one unlocks at hunter rank 70. Now, those are going to be really challenging goals to hit in the next 3 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, but I'm going to try. I understand I can fight these things in event quests, but event quests are dialed up so much. I'd rather try to fight them in their intended state than their souped up state of their event quests. So the grind begins. At the time of recording this, I've been grinding over the weekend. I'm actually at hunter rank 27 now, and I'm hoping that by the time you see this, I will be at hunter rank 30 or 35. I heard the grind in Monster Hunter 3, like hunter rank grind, takes forever. So I don't know. I think the hunter rank 40 is going to be safe to say that I can achieve it, but the 70, that is an ambitious goal. So other things that unlocked at this point, I unlocked the Gold Rathian and the Silver Rathalos, so those are the next 2 monsters on my list. I met Savage Joe through an event quest, so that is 3, and that thing is ridiculous. I will definitely need a very specific build and gear for that. I did take him on just to see with a pretty crummy loadout, and yeah, he's hyper aggressive, so I'm gonna have to bring my best game to take that on. Now, the next goal I had was unlocking Alatreon. So I've been grinding through the weekend, just knocking out all of my high rank village quests, and I succeeded. So at the time of this recording, Alatreon is unlocked, and let me tell you, to unlock this boy was not easy. So doing all of the low rank, high rank village quests was fairly easy, especially in G rank armor. But once you do all that, you unlock a special quest called Mark of a Hero, which is an arena quest where you first have to fight an Ivory Laggy, and then after he's dead, you have to take on a Brachydios as well as an Azure Rathalos at the same time, all within the same, like, the same, using all the items you have available to you. It was hard. Also, my armor is weak to thunder, so maybe I didn't really go in with my best armor set. So the Ivory Laggy was the hardest fight, and honestly, I went into this fight with like, okay, I'm gonna see what it's about. Let's try my best with what I have, but it's okay if I die. I'll just come back with like a better strategy. So I went in. The Ivory Laggy, the first time I fought him, I didn't really have a problem with him. I took him out on my first try. So this time I was super surprised at how hard it was. I went through all my Mega Potions. I recombined 10 new Mega Potions on the spot, and I went through almost all of them as well. I went through so many healing items against this Ivory Laggy. He was hitting really hard, and I was pounding on him for maybe 15-20 minutes until he finally died. But I was like, there's no way I'm finishing this. This is so hard. And I don't know if it's the I think it's the Ivory Laggy that also carded me twice. So I finally kill him after 20 minutes of trying, and I was like, how am I going to take on a freaking Brachy and an Azure Rathalos at the same time with like a handful of potions left and 1 cart? Or I didn't even have a cart. I was on my last cart. So I picked up some Mega Potions while the corpse of the Ivory Laggy was there. So that brought my Mega Potions up to like maybe 7. So it gave me a little bit more hope. And then these 2 come into the room, and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I was like, all right. So I brought a lightning trap, and I was like, let's bring some flash bombs just in case. Let me tell you, those flash bombs saved me. So the first thing I do is, you know, Azure Rathalos come in, brag, I'm like, flash bomb. So the Azure falls, Brachy's blind, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm whacking on the Azure Rathalos, and then it starts. And I don't know if, can I say that on YouTube? I don't know, maybe beep it out, editor. And so I'm like, swoosh, swoosh, run away, try to create things. And then I'm noticing that during like special positioning that the Azure Rathalos' fireballs are hitting the Brachydios, and the Brachydios is punching the Azure Rathalos. I was like, can monsters hit each other? And the chat's like, yes, they can. I was like, all right, I gotta use that against them. So I'm trying to keep them together so that they're damaging each other. I put a shock trap down. I trap both of them together, but I think I got hit, so I'm not like maximizing my damage on them. I can't even tell you what I did. I have no idea what happened. I should not have won this fight. But something happened, and the Azure Rathalos died. And I was like, what? Oh my God, there's only 1 monster left. This is doable. I should be able to do this. And it was just me and Brachy. And also, in hindsight, focus on the Azure Rathalos if you try this fight, because you don't want to enrage Brachy because he just becomes ridiculous. So you focus on Azure Rathalos, keep Bracky calm. And then when he's done, you fight Bracky, and then he can get as mad as he wants. And so he's punching me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't take a lot of these hits. So when he's in rage, I'm just keeping my distance. And it's just going back and forth. I'm like, there is no way I can do this quest. And it's just, it's so tense. I have no potions. I have no carts. And it's just so difficult. And I've got no more tricks. Oh wait, I had one trick left. I had one last flash bomb. And I'm like, all right, here goes. At least these flash bombs give me openings. I flashed him again. Yeah, it was the final shot, actually. He fell over. And I was like, all right, let's just like, I started doing more cool things where they're over. I like slash them a few times, but instead of just spamming my slash, I get an invasion sensation in there. So I'm like, slash, slash. And then I poke him, and then and then boom. And then his head blows up and he dies. And I'm just like, that is the perfect finish for this intense tale of just, I shouldn't have won this. So, oh man, I was on adrenaline high for the next half hour. Unlocked Alatreon. I'm like, I'm not going to go peek at Alatreon because this is not a regularly scheduled stream. I have to do that when it's intended. So what's next? I'm not sure. I want to keep Alatreon as my final monster because the whole story is, you know, he was such a big impact on me in Monster Hunter World. My hypothetical anime story of myself is I went back into the past to Monster Hunter 3 to see his origins. And so out of the monsters that are left, he is the only like iconic one to me. So I kind of want to save him for last. I have Gold Rathian, Silver Rathalos, and I feel like the Savage Joe is probably what's really going to be my last monster, but I don't want it to be my last monster. I have Alatreon, that's 4. I don't know yet how to... I know of the other 3. Okay, so the Hunter rank 40 is, I think, the Lucent Narga. And then the Hunter rank 70 is it's another Laggy, an Abysmal Laggy or something. And then there's a Holo Gen that unlocks somehow somewhere. So those are the 7 that are left. I really want to see what Alatreon is as my last monster and finish off on kind of that poetic ending. So we'll see. The next stream, I'm definitely going to take on Gold Rathian, Silver Rathalos. I'm going to keep grinding my Hunter rank, building an armor set that can actually help me survive Savage, and we'll see where it goes. I got 3 weeks left. I've got the last targets in my sight, and it's just a matter of getting what I need to finish them off and close the skill gap. So I'll see you on the next stream or on the next journal. And until next time, keep it classy. Subscribe.